Hey mamas, all right. I am jumping on here today because I want to address this whole board teachers situation. Um, if this goes over like 10-ish minutes, I'm probably going to clip this and then put the whole video on YouTube. So, just FYI. I've already filmed this once and it was 45 minutes, and I try to keep my YouTube videos under 20 minutes. So, but if you don't know what board teachers are, it's a podcast. It's a podcast of teachers, and they tend to just rant. So it's their perspective of teaching, and a lot of it is ranting about Karen moms, kids, and lack of support from the administration, which I'm sure, first of all, teaching's a hard job, right? It just is. Kids are hard. Being a mom is a hard job. Being a dad is a hard job. Right? Being responsible for another person and teaching them all the things that you need to be taught, it's a hard job. And not all kids are easy. I get it. It's really not a podcast that I entertain. I feel like they're kind of whiny and over the top. I've tried to listen to them a couple times and I just can't. As a mom who has dealt with my fair share of crappy teachers, there's no nuance, there's no perspective, there's no other perspective. Like, they aren't bringing parents on to have conversations. It's just all very one-sided and, frankly, I think kind of lazy. Right? Yeah, like the best way you handle stuff like this in this huge social media world is if you disagree with something, you don't watch it, right? Plenty of people watch them. So for the most part, for me to comment or say anything, it fuels the fire. And frankly, wars inside comments just fuel bad behavior, right? For the support. Like, it's a whole thing. Like, I just don't watch them. I don't watch their TikToks. I don't watch them, with the exception of Mr. Williams Pre-K. I actually really like Mr. Williams Pre-K. I don't listen to him on the podcast, but I like his TikToks. I'm not on TikTok, but they all come over on Instagram. But even in this case, like, he needs to do better, right? He should address it. And when stuff like this comes up and they're being inappropriate, like, it's hard to be the squeaky wheel. But you should be the one being like, whoa, guys. And I don't know. I'll see how this affects me in the future. Maybe I'll quit following him. I don't know. But the rest of them, I just find them over the top. Frankly, I feel like they exaggerate most of their stories. It's just not my thing. But this time, they made fun of kids on IEPs. And I don't even mean, they didn't tell a story in perspective. They made fun of kids with IEPs. I wish I knew how to insert clips. I don't know how to do that yet. But there are plenty of people who are covering it. And like I said, I don't watch them. I heard about this from Laura Hales, or the Drummer Stories. And I will tag her in this so you can click on it and you can find her story where she talked about it, and she includes the clip. It's horrific. And it's sick. It's not cute. It's not funny. It's not okay. And as teachers, they should know that. And what's really problematic about this was a podcast. Some of them, including Mr. Williams, had something to say about the Meghan Trainor thing where she said F teachers. And they had a lot to say about this is why teachers are struggling. And it was pointed out that she said this on a podcast. So this had to go through editors, right? And people had to agree with her and decide that this was okay to leave in. Well, guys, this is why you have quote unquote Karen moms, right? Because you're dropping the ball and you are making fun of our kids. And this attitude, guys, we can tell, right? We know when you're talking down to us as parents. We know when you're not treating our kid right, right? Some parents have more tools than others or more knowledge of tools, right? So not all parents handle things well. I haven't always handled things well, but we can tell. And our biggest fear is this: knowing that the teachers are going in the break room or worst on a national reaching podcast and making fun of our kids. Like, they were making fun. It was disgusting. And not only was this a podcast that they had to have edited and gone, they said it, then it went through editors, and then they clipped the clip of them making fun of special needs kids and kids on IEPs and put it on TikTok and reached other social media platforms. Having a hard job doesn't excuse this kind of behavior. They've since taken it down. I hope the next step is real apologies and an effort to do better, more nuance on their podcast, more parents' perspectives. Because, odds are if you're in a school where there's crappy teachers or a crappy administration, you've got parent stories too. Parents and teachers, they can be allies. My kids have had some great teachers in some crappy school districts. And guess what? We've worked together. I've learned a lot as a mom from good teachers. And I'm not talking about good teachers from when I was a kid, although I did have some really great teachers. Miss Gross, Mr. Spedding, I'm looking at you. Good teachers that my kids have had. I've stayed friends with some of their teachers. Because when you care and when you're invested, you form a bond, right? When you're on the same team. We've had some really crappy teachers. We've had just some outright bad teachers. And the clips that I saw of this podcast, it's every parent's worst nightmare. They should be ashamed of themselves. And I hope they take that shame, and I hope they take the scandal and the outrage of us special need parents. A lot of them have much bigger reach than me. I'm still building mine. Well, we're all still building ours. But I hope they take some of this input and reframe some of this. How do we do better? How do we do better in our schools and for our kids if we're on two different sides? We don't. We don't. We have angry parents and we have teachers making fun of angry parents, and worse, making fun of our kids. We can do better. We should be doing better. So, mamas, if you see these TikToks and you see this particular podcast, and they all stem off and have their own TikTok pages, right? and you have concerns, just know you have safe places to come to. Scroll past. Don't give it any attention. If you spend more than a second or two watching the clip, they get the view. They get paid. All it does is kind of affirm their behavior. So try not to follow them, try not to watch, and come here and find other mamas and good teachers like me that are going to give you support, that are going to answer questions, that you can message, that, find the good ones. We're out there, moms and teachers, that can be productive and have constructive conversations. If you need to know how to get them off your page, I had a while there where they were all, because I had watched a couple clips that I had been sent by friends. And I'm probably going to go through it again because I've watched the clip of them making fun of special needs kids. I've watched it clipped into posts like mine. So I don't know if it is going to like trigger the algorithm and I'm going to start seeing them a lot. I hope not. But if you need help clearing them out of your feed, message me a comment. I'll tell you how to do that. So I've already done it once because there was a period of time where they were popping up like crazy. And as a mom who has had experiences with all kinds of teachers, whiny teachers making fun of kids and moms, it's not my cup of tea. I have no interest in it. And I had managed to clear them almost completely out of my algorithm. So I can give you tips on how to do that, but don't comment on their thing. All it does is fuel the haters and they get the view. They don't deserve the view. But support pages like mine talking about it. Laura Hales is the Drummer Stories. I love her. She's a mom of kids with autism. And I know there are several others. Support our pages. Because we counter that kind of nonsense. But hang in there, mamas. Being a mom is a hard job. Being a good teacher is a hard job, right? It's really easy to just talk bad about people and make fun of people, right? It's hard to do the work and look inside yourself and have compassion for other people and to figure out how to do better, right? So, I'm trying to work on figuring out where to find compassion for them because my mama bear wants to kick in and I want to say a lot more. But I'm not a mean person. I'm not a hateful person. And so, I'm trying not to give in to that, like, kind of primal instinct to go there. I know they have hard jobs. I know, especially if they haven't been supported well in those hard jobs, it breeds resentment and anger. It's hard. But there's better places to go on the internet. The internet doesn't have to be a dark, hateful place where we're just cruel. And I'm trying really hard to build a place like that. So, mamas, I love you. I'm here for you. And if you're going through situations with teachers, schools, it's just mom life is hard, right? I'm here for you. So, we got this. All right, drink your water, get some coffee. It's the end of May. Hang in there.